Hi, we're O Flamingo. Welcome to another episode of
BIRDCASTING.
Okay, so today we will be talking about we'll see. I think music. Globally, I don't know. We'll see. But before that, we would like to thank our special sponsor, Las Islas Gourmet, for our ready-to-eat bottled ulam. Yes, I haven't been cooking because of it. Thank you, Las Islas Gourmet. All right, let's talk. Hello, how are you? All of you.
Hello, I'm quite happy because this week has been a very good week for Kpop.
What happened in Kpop?
Well,
I'm very unaware.
Merong, like, in my perspective, merong three cool things that happened. Well, one, I nagkaroon ng online concert yung BTS. And then parang halos 1 million ticket buyers 1 million yung nag-avail ng concert na yun.
Oh, wow.
Pangalawa, Twice just announced that they'll be releasing their second album, and then dahan-dahan na silang naglalabas ng teaser. So parang tumitigil yung mundo ng mga tao for that. And of course, yung third, naglabas yung Blackpink ng documentary sa Netflix na more or less kinakwento nila yung journey nila from being like a trainee down to ito, kung ano na sila ngayon, like a worldwide phenomenon. Phenomenon. Yun. Tapos, parang napaisip lang ako kasi alam mo yung last week na pag-usapan natin yung mga ukulele na ginawa sa Pilipinas, dinala sa Hawaii, tapos iuuwi mo as a tourist, babalik sa Pilipinas. Parang naisip ko medyo same na yung K-pop ay very like somewhat influenced by Western music. Lumabas sila sa mundo. Alam mo yun, paano ba yun explain? Like, Korean sila na gumawa ng Western sounding music, tapos nagustuhan siya ng Western world eventually. Alam mo yun, parang same logic. Alam mo yun, parang bumalik sa'yo, pero iba na yung itsura.
But what's interesting about that is K-pop is what's being copied by most Asian countries with their pop music.
Yeah.
Now, like, I was researching Vietnamese pop, V-pop they call it, and they all sound like K-pop.
Yeah.
So also Thailand pop, they have a ballad part and a non-ballad part, which is mostly K-pop. Even their outfits, their drama format, long, para siyang K-drama sa Thailand. So that's what I found, but I'm not sure. It's not like that here. We have a lot of K-pop fans, right? But
Yeah.
our media is not necessarily K-pop aligned. How come? Is it
Oo
because
nga,
we
no?
were colonized by the Americans?
Pero interesting din kasi yung South Korea ay
Sa
super...
yung sumagad parang diretso
Pero
tayo.
yung South Korea, Americanized din sila eh. Lahat nung... Parang, di ba parang sila yung naging isa sa mga good examples of their colonies. Kasi sobrang consumer-based.
Colony ba ang... Sorry,
North Korea.
I'm very...
I'm not sure actually.
South Korea, American history.
Pero
America or a different Western country?
parang di sila na-colonize.
I don't think they were colonized.
Pero,
But they were supported kasi diba nag-divide yung Korea?
yes. As kasi kaaway sila ng Japan, and Japan being part of yung Axis powers back then.
Yeah.
Syempre, kakampihan ng kalaban nila yung kalaban nila.
Japan was the colonizer of Korea. Yeah. So they
Interesting.
so they look up to the Americans that time because they helped So, tama si Pappu then, if that's the theory. We're just theorizing. We're all just
We're
theorizing.
historians sa
Contemplating.
amin. This is all approximate knowledge.
Pero yeah, so since Americans helped Koreans had an affinity for the Americans, they created Western music, but then they did it better. So,
Well, I can see the Japanese connection. Kasi K-pop maybe, kinuha from Japanese idol music.
Yung idolatry.
Idol. Kasi diba
Idol.
J-pop also is based on parang boy groups, girl groups, na medyo techno, electronic yung sound. Tapos baka yun yung na-adapt ng K-pop, pero ginawa lang nilang mas version nila.
parang sobrang similar nung fandom sa AKB48 at saka mga K-pop. May followers per person, parang ganon. I mean, it's very similar to pop groups in the Western world also, like boy bands and such, right? Although, I would argue that boy bands were not really an American product. They're mostly a European thing, I think. Because in the history of Backstreet Boys, actually, they were first popular in Europe and not America. So,
Well, let's try to trace back. When were the first boy groups? Marami. I'm thinking Bee Gees, 70s, meron na.
are they counted as boy groups in the K-pop sense?
Siguro proto boy group.
How would you say what characteristics do they have that would make them fall under that umbrella idol?
Parang Apo Hiking Society. I guess it's three people who have distinct characters. And then ayun, they sing, they dance, they have parang they also sell their personalities. Parang
Alvin
yun
and the
naisip ko na
Chipmunks.
maintenance.
Alvin and the Chipmunks. May album din
They
sila.
sing, they dance, they
May
nail.
Christmas album sila.
Iniisip kung saan ba pero yung interesting nga, kailan naging Backstreet Boys, di ba? Parang kailan nag-shift from Bee Gees to Backstreet.
I think yung difference, parang Bee Gees, although like group sila, parang mas singing group sila. And then secondary yung dance steps. And then ang pagkaka-perceive ko dun sa boy bands and girl bands as we know it, it's like individual pop stars grouped together. Like parang Britney Spears times 5. Girl group yun na kumakanta at sumasayaw. Ewan ko.
Talaga? Although may roles kasi within the groups eh. For example, Nsync would have a leader person. I don't wanna anger the Nsync fans, but I'm not sure if Justin was the leader.
Feeling ko si JC.
That's JC.
Well, one of them, either one of them, right? And in Backstreet Boys, it was not AJ. Brian. It was Brian.
I did a Wikipedia quick search.
Diba?
Para meron tayong
In Kpop, is it the same? Is there
Isa-
like a
isa-
leader?
Yes.
Depende lang sa voicing, right? Like
I don't think so.
Lance Bass never sung because he was the lowest voice, and so did Kevin Richardson. He never actually. Posh Spice never sang either. Solo. I mean, she'd have like 1 or 2 lines, but it was all about LC.
I think it's the appeal then. I think a part of it is the appeal to the masses. Because originally, the leader of Backstreet Boys was Howie. And they pushed him back slowly.
Hindi siya
Sad.
Parang people had a different favorite.
Oo.
Yeah. It became Brian eventually. So I think it plays si Howie.
Howard.
No?
Howie J.
Duro.
Howard.
Ano last name?
Howard Duro.
Day.
Howie D. So I think it's it's part of it is the singing and also the likability. Would it be the same in K-pop?
Personalities.
Yeah.
Isang Dara Park. Anong group niya?
She was
To anyone.
at 21.
Ah.
To and
Tune one.
2-1. And
Ang galing nun, no? Alam mo si
like,
Sandara actually, sobrang ang galing-galing nung career trajectory niya kasi from locally, Filipino to global, right?
inisip ko, parang, inisip ko,
She was born to be a star.
parang nagkaroon siya ng second wind sa career niya. And then yung second wind is not less than the first wind. Parang exponentially better.
Global na.
Diba? From Star Circle Quest.
Just a master race.
Oh, diba sa Star Circle Quest, hindi siya nanalo doon. Tama ba?
Hindi, alam ko. Ay,
Panalo siya?
wait, feeling ko nanalo yun eh. Wait lang. Sandara, Star Circle.
Anong season niya?
First
Hindi
kay
siya
Hero.
kay Hero Angele.
Siya yung partner
Siya
ni
yan.
Hero.
Saka si Jiro Goso. Sino ba?
Joros.
Joros
At si
Gamboa.
Roxanne.
Ginoo. Wait
Anyway,
lang,
nakalayo
lucky.
siya. Pero naalala ko,
Siya yung
parang...
nanalo.
Okay.
Ay, hindi, runner-up pala. Si Hero yung
Si Hero
panalo.
yung
Hindi pala
nanalo.
siya boy and
Gets,
girl.
gets.
Starstruck pala
Starstruck yan.
Boring.
Pero ang naalala ko, parang nung nanalo siya, parang medyo nire-ridicule siya for, di ba ang nickname pa nga niya nun was Krung Krung.
Yes,
Kasi parang
Krung
siya yung crazy Korean na hindi masyado magaling mag-Tagalog at hindi rin masyadong talented, I guess, by Filipino
the Filipino
acting standards. Oo. And yet,
Being
Grabe naman yung
ostracized.
yes, exactly.
pangit ng krung-krung.
Krung Krung
Yeah.
talaga
She owned
yung...
it though.
What's that?
She owned it. Pambansang krung-krung.
What is it? Is it like a sound
Naging
that you...
parang novel.
No, krung-krung's like
Crazy.
crazy.
Parang crazy girl.
Crew. Parang ganun.
It's
Oh,
kind of
okay,
problematic.
Yeah. Hindi na yan pwede ngayon, 2020.
Labo.
Pero,
It's wrong.
parang after nung stint niya sa Pilipinas, ay nagkaroon siya ng second opportunity to be part of a Kpop group, which is 2NE1. Na,
What happened? How? How did she...
actually, hindi
It's
ko
like-
alam.
It's actually, you know how like men have to go home and serve in the army? It's like she did her military training, went home, put her kid. She got really good or something.
Or something. Or baka kinuha din siya dahil alam na merong footing sa Pilipinas.
Yeah, it's actually
No?
Maybe.
the smarter move.
And then from there, I mean, like, tingnan nyo naman kung ano yung posisyon ng K-pop sa Philippines right now. I think if you look at the top 20 of or top, alam mo yung top 50 or top 20 sa Spotify, sure ako merong K-pop dyan. At least 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted. I was reading her wiki.
Ako
Si
din.
Sandara.
Pareho tayo.
So, what's her story?
Hindi na nirenew yung contract niya ng Star Magic
Okay.
Tapos umuwi na lang siya ng Korea with her family.
family.
Tapos na-discover siya.
Boom. YG. Sinuha na siya.
Ng YG
Yung YG yung
Entertainment.
isa sa mga biggest. Ano ngayon?
And look at them now. They are back.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Yes. Thank you, Wiki.
Good.
Very reliable source.
But
Hey, but for real though, it's a reliable for some like music history.
for like, approximations. And then you go to the links.
Speaking of approximations, this is a far reach thing, but what we're talking about is basically like the evolution of music through appropriation. That's how I see it. Cultural appropriation, which we have to confirm that it's neither positive nor negative. Appropriation is appropriation.
Yeah.
I think
So-
it's natural for culture to travel to each other. Para lang siyang science. Nagpapasahan tayo ng knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially, that's what you're doing. Sunsets was a Beatles appropriation. Parang, di ba? So, our music now, I've noticed, it's not doing the K-pop thing as I mentioned. It's doing more of a general electronic Western sound. Would you agree? Now, or is it still the Pinoy rock?
Maybe a mix
what's
of
the most
all. Pero how do we specify?
Juxtaposition
And
of the familiar and the unfamiliar.
and the unfamiliar?
I think same lang naman tayo with most of the bands in the Philippines. Now we all listen to Western bands. But at the same time, there were local bands doing similar things.
No, but what is that if I mentioned earlier that the Vietnamese they tend to like the pop music there tends to align with Kpop sensibilities, right? But here in our country, what is it? What is that Pinoy leaning?
Di ba nandun pa rin tayo sa Beat It Queens and Beat It Kings?
On a general
Where did that come
Ay,
from?
hindi. Medyo, actually, oo nga, no? Parang
Medyo
feeling
mas
ko,
R&B, I think.
oo. Actually,
Pop R&B
yung
pa rin.
magandang exercise from time to time ay mag-sign out ka dun sa YouTube account mo or mag-incognito ka and then pasok ka sa YouTube. And then makikita mo ano yung general pulso ng bayan. Kasi 'di ba right
ng
now
pulso ng
yung
bayan.
yung feed mo ay more or less echo chamber of the things that you want to watch. Like, sure ka gusto mong panoorin. Pero pag nag-sign out ka, parang meron doon yung Rafi Tulfo in action.
Wala ka sa algorithm.
Oo. And then, usually nga, tama si Pat, parang yung mga artists ngayon are on the R&B side. Like sila, parang hip-hop R&B, sila Matayos, or di ko na alam.
Ang guess ko dyan, na nagpasok dito, nagpauso ay Boys to Men. Kasi sobrang sikat ng Boys to Men dito.
Talaga? Ang alam kong
That's my
sikat
guess.
dito sa Pilipinas ay Michael Learns to Rock. At
Yun.
hindi popular ang Michael Learns to Rock in
Anywhere else.
One.
Brian
Like,
McKnight.
Yun pa, isa pa yun. Ang hilig natin sa mga artists na Asians lang yung
At
nakaka-appreciate.
19 East. Live at 19 East.
Keith Martin.
Keith
Naalala
Keith
niyo yung Because of You ni Keith Martin.
Yeah,
Apparently
sobrang
sa
popular.
Pilipinas lang siya thing.
What?
Tapos
Legit?
nung nakarating siya
Because of
dito, like as in parang sobrang crazy na pa, oh my God, Keith Martin, live in Manila. Nag-end up, ang alam ko, nag-asawa na siya ng Pilipino. Parang nahanap niya na, parang okay,
Yan ang kanyang home.
I'm home. Pero
So
anywhere
pwedeng,
else,
i-dedicate ngayong Because of You to the Filipino population. His life has changed.
Thank you for all.
thank you for
I
the
think
love
that
and the
happened to
joy.
a lot.
Ano nga yung mga gano'n, no? Yung mga
Ano yan?
parang
Marami, sobrang dami.
Dami
Sige,
yan.
The Moffats.
Talaga? Pilipinas lang
The
yan?
Moffats?
I'm not
I
sure.
mean, Lainey also, I think. Lainey.
Lainey yung current, I think, na parang existing artist na parang Pilipinas lang yung main audience.
But the Moffats were huge in Southeast Asia. For sure. They were huge.
I think Stephen Speaks with
Oh
Passenger
my
Seat.
God. The worst.
Parang
Binocular.
worst.
Remember that? Binocular.
Deep.
Whoa.
Oh, Binocular, yeah.
Whoa.
Did you see
the
that
Speaks?
viral vid?
Hold your head up high.
Pinoy, di ba Pinoy kasi sila? Kaya,
The worst.
Still,
The worst. The worst songs.
Ano pa ba? So Michael Learns to Rock.
Michael Learns to Rock. Si David Pomeranz. Feeling ko sa
Oh, yeah.
Pilipinas lang siya sikat.
So
Yeah, dude,
nagko-concert
for sure,
sa Cebu and Manila palagi.
Sa
Parang
waterfront.
Every year nagpupunta
Si
sa waterfront.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
Ayun, isa
Di ba
yun.
siya
Release.
He has like shows in
that's-
Laguna, like in Santa Rosa.
It's wiki that.
So random. Like in billboards on SLEX.
Feeling ko, sa Pilipinas lang
Through
sila
karaoke.
thing. Ano siya, pinapamana. Alam mo yun, naririnig mo sa karaoke ng tatay mo Tas pagtanda mo, pag tatay ka na, yun na rin yung karaoke song mo. Or kaya maririnig mo sa jeep, air supply, di ba? Pagtanda mo parang, air supply na rin yung preference mo. At Chicago.
Ano pa ba? Ano yung mga ganun? I know
I would wanna
Chicago's
see
kind of
Chicago
popular
live.
everywhere. But for sure, the ones you said earlier, those are like only in the Philippines kind of David parts.
Di ba si Brian McKnight meron din Tagalog na kanta? Yung I'm so sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry.
Merong sino yung American Idol na nag-decide magstay na sa Pilipinas?
David Archuleta.
Ano siya?
Yun! Nag-TV5 siya for a while.
Talaga?
Nag-teleserye pa yun.
What?
Yeah.
Archuleta, wow.
As in, nag-TV5.
Hindi ko alam na tumigil siya dito for...
Pero he's half yata.
I think may Filipino
Honduras siya, diba? Yung
Yeah.
But I think he
country.
left already. Eh,
Last
meron nga siya
trip
show,
yun.
Nandito Ako. David
Nandito
Archuleta,
ako.
Love na love siya ng mga
copying
mommy.
contest. Hero, David Archuleta joins TV5. Now, a kapatid.
Yeah.
What year
So,
was
fairly
that?
recent. I mean, kung TV5 yan, fairly recent.
2012.
Kasi I think
Shortly after.
during his time, nung American Idol siya, IBC 13 pa yun di ba?
Ayan Nandito Ako TV series is David Archuleta's first Filipino and only Asian project.
I'm trying to think who else.
Wow.
Sige nga mga ka-birds, let us know in the comments din kung sino yung parang international star na
Sobrang minahal ng Pilipino.
Oo, sige. Let's put it that way. Minahal ng Pilipinas. More than the rest of the world.
I just wonder though, like, is there an artist here that's doing that in the opposite side? Na,
Si Christian Bautista, sikat sa Indonesia.
talaga? Wow. I know
Rachel
River
Ann
Maya
Go.
is super
River Maya sa Indonesia, di ba?
Indonesia din.
Thing sila doon.
Oh, yeah. I think Rico Blanco ba? Or, basta I remember I was in Malaysia. I was with you,
Yeah,
Pappu.
we were in a cable car.
Cable car, and two random Indonesians talked to us and said, "Oh, you're from the Philippines. We love River Maya." We're like, "What?
Yeah, Rachel Ango.
What?"
Si Rachel Ann Go ngayon, Broadway. I think
Broadway.
si Mellow Fellow is someone who has a bigger name
Marami
outside
siya sa
of the
US.
country rather than the Philippines, di ba?
Yeah, sila
Pero hindi ko na...
Tours, diba?
Yeah.
And also No Rome.
Yeah. Norway sa
Oo.
UK.
No Rome dahil yung sa association niya with
He's
the
signed,
1975.
1975.
he signed to the label of 1975. 30.
Si Idris.
Ayun
Ay,
pa.
dress US
Tama.
din.
All right. But that's an interesting, that's an interesting career
Si June.
trajectory also.
Si June Marizi.
Marizi, right.
Pero
You
parang,
guys know this documentary
sakto
called
lang.
Yeah.
No, I did not know.
Ganda na.
Sugarman, basically, there's this parang, I think he's from Chicago. Na I don't know if Chicago or basta a US state. Tapos he just made an album or 2 albums. Tapos hindi siya bumenta in America. But then for some reason, a copy of his records ended up in South Africa, and he became like the Beatles of South Africa. But no one knew who he was.
Gets.
And he didn't even know he was popular.
Gets.
Kasi wala siyang idea. And like, meron siyang cult following that was just live their lives just trying to find him.
Yeah.
If he's still alive, or if he exists, or whatever, ganyan. Tapos eventually, they found him after mga decades of search. Tapos nag-concert siya once in South Africa. Tapos, as in, punong-puno yung stadium. As in, hundreds of
Documentary yun.
thousands of people.
Yeah. What was the title?
Searching for
Searching
Sugar
for Sugarman.
Man.
Searching for Sugar. Merong similar story with Shaggy. yung It Wasn't Me na song, bago siya maging worldwide thing, like, nirelease nila siya under yung album, nakalimutan ko yung title ng album niya, pero hindi siya meant to be a single. As in, the producers were actually against it pa na parang, or yung label nila parang, hindi yan single, like, wag na. And then, merong some random DJ from Hawaii na dinownload yung kanta illegally through yung mga peer sharing networks. Splinay niya doon, tas naging thing siya from there. As in, tas alam mo, hindi alam nila Shaggy na thing na sila sa Hawaii. And then eventually, naging gateway siya to the West. I mean, to America. Kasi nga Hawaii, America. Diba? So parang, yun lang, ang galing lang.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Freak chance.
I always imagine, what if like one of our songs ended up somewhere like the Bahamas or something. I don't know.
In Bahrain.
Tas we didn't even know about it. No, that would be so cool. Something to imagine.
Like some Mauritius. Or something, di ko alam.
Pero parang ang hirap na nun mangyari ngayon na internet-based na tayo. Kasi dati, for example, ma-pick up ng radio station yung song.
Dito nga umabot yung dayang-dayang. Dayang-dayang.
Bagay.
I mean, hindi, alam mo yun, yung mga ganong songs na hindi bigla na lang magiging popular even through internet sharing. Right? May
Ano yung
mga ganong...
dayang-dayang?
Papiri, oh, papiri.
Papili na papili.
Alam ko,
Indian?
Indian ata yan
Indian
eh.
ata siya.
Yeah.
Dayang.
Yeah.
Right.
Paano yun
It's something like
na-funnel
that.
dito?
Oo. I don't know. But it happens. Even, like, ano pa ba yung mga popular songs na internet popular and then is very locally appreciated. I'm sure there are some stuff that are like that. But you know, sorry?
Yung Pizzicato 5. Might
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
niche though. That's a famous Japanese song.
Howla. Pero I think yung mga ganun nung 90s, medyo mas deliberate. Since wala namang internet noon. Parang may way, parang, alam mo yun, hindi siya by freak chance lang na nag-stumble upon yung Philippines doon. Parang somehow pinarating or nakarating sa bansa.
Yeah.
Pero nag-agree ako dun sa sinasabi ni Howard na parang mas mahirap na nga yung mga ganong freak chance and then makaka-capture ka ng entire nation. Dahil lang yung mga platforms kung saan tayo nagko-consume ng music is very curated na. Parang paparinig nila sa'yo kung ano yung alam nila na magugustuhan mo. Like sa YouTube,
Yung
ang
Doja
recommended
Cat.
videos. Or sa Spotify, diba?
Yung sa Facebook, pwede. Viral on
Si
Facebook.
Doja Cat,
Viral.
very TikTok
TikTok.
trend siya.
Memes.
Ayun. Pero parang naging famous siya doon, di ba?
Oo
Si
nga.
Doja Cat. Yeah.
Through TikTok. Pati si
Yeah.
Old Town Road. Old Town Road ba title nun?
Anong
that?
tanong nun?
I wanna take me to the Old Town Road. I wanna ride to the Canyon. Tapos parang song siya ng isang dude and then eventually na-pick up ni Billy Ray Cyrus. Pero parang nag-end up, I think, mas si Billy Ray Cyrus pa yung sumakay dun sa song rather than yung song yung sumakay kay
Is
Billy
it
Ray
like,
Cyrus.
parang pangit siya na song?
Parang
Like
parang
pangit yung
cowboy
singing
hip-hop.
niya.
Parang ganun.
Yeah. Wait, shit. I've heard this. Yeah, it's weird.
Sobrang
weird
uso ng
song.
country ngayon sa Amerika. As in,
For reals?
Country pop. Parang, pag chinek mo yung top 20, ang dami. That's weird kasi nahahalo na siya with other genres. May country
It's
na,
like
may
electronic
hip-hop.
country.
Yeah, may gano'n. Sina BB Rex
that's
siya.
so interesting. Electronic country? I've never...
Very weird. The
interesting.
melodies are...
Parang yung... Shit. Parang yung song yung ni...
Tapos trap beats.
Yung song ni Avicii.
Anong song yun?
Ano yung song ni Avicii?
Yung Avicii.
Wake me
din.
up when it's
Yeah,
all
parang
over.
country yung singing, diba? Tapos
Country.
EDM na.
Para siyang square dance, pero EDM. Oo nga, no? Gets.
May namang kundiman EDM. I mean, that's the most Filipino I can think of.
Tug, tug, tug. Someone should do that.
Or
Lo-fi
Kundiman beats.
Kundiman beats. Baka nga, no?
Rondalia.
Kundiman.
Rondalia lo-fi.
But what do you think people would
Rondalia
get
core.
mad for cultural appropriation?
Oh,
If you do
actually dyan
that.
ako napapaisip. Kasi parang, alam mo yung, minsan feeling ko stuck pa rin tayo dun sa para masabing Filipino siya, kailangan nandun yung Filipino elements from our like ninuno na music, which is yung rondalia or yung paggamit ng indigenous music like yung mga ano ba yun, gongs and yung mga kubing. And parang napapansin ko yung, let's say, yung type of music na sinusupport ng government, let's say yung through grants by NCCA, mas ganon, mas on that side. Like yung meron nung old
Cultural thing.
Oo.
Heritage music.
Parang heritage music.
Yes.
Pero
I think
when you-
they're trying
mm.
not to they're trying to not forget it. Parang ganon.
Oo.
Ayaw nilang
Conservation.
makalimutan. Conservation effort. Yeah.
Mas conservation nga siya.
But then again, when will we start considering then yung modern music for mga ganong grants and
Yun nga
etc.
Kasi 'di ba yung Kpop as a thing, ano siya government supported siya. So parang hindi ka magfo-forward kung kayo lang 'yun. Kailangan mo talaga ng nationwide support para makalabas. Siguro somewhere out there in Korea merong mga matatanda na sinasabi na, oh no, this is not Korean music. This is Western music in Korean. Parang ganon. And yet, tayong outsiders, parang nakita natin na, okay, like, it has its own unique sound. Oo. Na feeling ko, pwede rin mangyari sa atin.
What made it... I guess K-pop's known for its like how grand it is, like it's grandiose and like it's like over the top
The pristine
of production.
Yeah.
It's like it kind of becomes world class because like the Western music videos or whatever don't even look like that. Like they just pushed it
So,
excellence.
so far.
As in extreme siya na version.
It's the Asian
it has to be excellent. Otherwise, it's a disgrace.
I think
But
yung
this
Pilipinas
leads
nasa ano pa tayo eh. When we support art, when we think of art, we think about traditional forms of art. So
Kasi we're very traditional people.
Yeah. Yung Korea, they were like, okay, yung mga K-pop, girl bands, etc. and soap operas, love to ng mga tao natin. At kumikita siya. May commerce aspect.
There's a documentary again. The first K-pop group, Solteji and Sons. Basta they're a group of boys.
Yeah.
Tapos they're the ones that first broke the traditional Korean music of that time, which was more propaganda music. Right? Yun yung mas ano daw siya. Mas, yun, may propaganda aspect plus may pagka, I guess, country sounding yung music. Yung if you would liken it to the Philippines, it would be the kundiman sound, probably.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, that group brought in that kind of music, boy group music, pop music, and then eventually it grew into, yung mga fandoms, etc., and then evolved eventually to what K-pop is now. I just watched this video. I don't remember where, but that's the story in a nutshell. So in the Philippines, if we're gonna go through the same kind of historical analysis or whatever, started with American colonization. We had blues music as the main blues and rock and roll as the main genre that was appreciated. And then eventually, hinaluan siya ng propaganda slash
mga makabayan.
activism. Then, makabayan music. Because of the time, the
You
context,
mean-
which was the
It was a
70s.
political...
Sampaguita,
Yeah.
Juan de la
70s.
Cruz.
70s, and then there's a half part which is just love songs and entertainment, pure entertainment. And then eventually it ended up being yun. Wala tayong groups. Ang pinaka-group na natin was That's Entertainment, but that's more of AKB48 format.
Yung model
Na
na.
may Wednesday group, may Tuesday group, Friday group.
Yeah.
And then eventually, ano na siya, naging variety show pop
Yun.
culture na tayo.
Variety
That's what's
show
happened.
pop. Yun nga tayo. So
And
like,
to add to like what Billy said, I think yung OPM, the term was coined in the 70s nga during that whole rock and roll revolution because they were fighting to play their own songs in those bars because they were all those rock
English
stars from
pinapromote,
70s or 60s before were just all asked to do covers. They have to sound like the Rolling Stones or, like they have to sound like the Beatles or whatever. So it was like a movement for them. Like, no, we play OPM, we play original, Pinoy music. So.
Filipino.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's why
Nag-carry
the
over
term
lang
original.
And it
So
kind
they
of
really
like
had to own it.
parang butterfly effect or something. Like, or it just echoed like, like that.
Ooh, I see. That's an interesting aspect that you brought up na the ownership thing, that they had to label it at that time.
Yeah.
For the past few years, we've always been discussing that OPM should
Is
be
dead.
killed as a term, right? Because we're going global, we're just playing music as music. But then, now that K-pop is booming and all the other countries are calling it like J-pop, V-pop, T-pop, are we like? Do you think it's really wrong to label it as OPM? At the same time, do you think we should
P-rock.
label
P-rock.
it as local? Because I understand
P-noise.
P-noise. No, but I understand I understand the sentiment that we're no other countries would call American pop. I mean, I gets,
Or
parang
Yeah.
Brit.
K-pop.
Pero may Brit
K-rock.
rock.
oh, yun nga eh. That's what makes me confused.
I think
About the discourse.
labels are there so that we can just make sense of certain sounds. Parang hindi naman necessarily may regulations on what the names are. Pero I guess that's what helps people who have, I guess, some different people have may kanya-kanyang limitations on what we can refer things to. So I guess for convenience, may names. Pero,
Does it help with like identity and ownership of like what to be proud of?
yeah.
May ganun ba siyang aspect? Because I'm saying
I
this
think-
because
yeah.
I'm saying this because for the past few
Yeah.
years I've always denied the OPM term eh. But now I'm coming to terms that maybe people like OPM just to feel a sense of like ownership
Right.
and pride. Which
Kung
could and could be wrong.
i-narrow down. Kasi ang problema ng iba, di ba, sinasabi nila, OPM, masyado siyang broad and at the same time constricting as a term. Parang ano yung makakonsider mong original Filipino music? Kailangan ba Tagalog? And then other, yung mga province, like yung mga regional dialects would argue na hindi. Kahit English to, Pilipino nagsulat, OPM pa rin dapat. Parang ganun. And then nag-end up na parang wala. Like, wala tayong napalalahat out of it. Inisip ko, kung
alam mo,
makakatulong ba yung kung P-pop,
Para
P-rock.
sa
Pop,
akin,
P-rock.
depende na lang sa where you're gonna use it, I guess. Kasi minsan, we'll just be chasing our own tails, trying to define ano ba yung OPM. Kasi, I guess I think of it in a way na, for example, it's a global market. You're on iTunes or Spotify. you need to categorize certain music. And then, dun lumalabas yung genre. Pero I think, yung mga local music, basta galing sa Pilipinas. Original Pinoy music. And then, it doesn't have to be English, Tagalog. Kasi, cultural identity stems from even the mixtures. Filipino bumili ng Jollibee, fried chicken. Fried chicken, American. But it's still Pinoy. Yung mga ganong, that kind of
ang dami kasing nuance
logic.
It's so nuanced. Like, and no one's gonna win. As in, there's nothing, I don't know. Parang, dati idealist pa ako na may defense pa ako whether or not black or white eh. But now, it's like, why don't we just leave them alone? What damage would it do? I mean, I want to look at it in the damaging side of it. What damage would it do if we did or did not call something original Pinoy music? Because back then, in the 70s, I get what Pat was saying, that they had to own it so that they can be allowed to play their own songs, but still sound like the Western music, just so that they can have space. It's the same way that politicians would campaign using jingles even if, they don't agree with it because that's what catches people's attention. You know what I'm saying? Parang siyang ganun eh.
Parang needs-based? Or depende sa konteksto? Siguro nga, like ngayon, like from an insider looking at its own industry, parang walang sense in our minds yung term na OPM. And then, dun lalabas yung argument na, hindi, bakit? Like, can't we just call it rock? Can't we just call it pop, R&B, etc., etc.? Pero from an outsider looking in, same way that we are outsiders looking into Kpop, di ba? Parang okay lang sa atin to call it Kpop, but for all we know, ba somewhere in Korea, sa kanila, it's just pop.
Iniisip ko kung parang nagsistem ba siya from like a national insecurity na parang hindi ko kailangan sabihin na Pinoy ako kasi hindi ako colonized for 300 years. Pero I think we just have to accept that we're a country colonized for 300 years. Sobrang tagal nun ng panahon. So, identity na natin maging mixed culture, I think.
What you're saying about identity na natin, yung pagiging mixed culture, that's a very unpopular yan. But it's the same struggle that Americans are going through right now. Like, what constitutes us being American? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, America is a convergence of different cultures. Like, who would you really call American? Aren't the Aboriginals the Americans? Right?
The real
but
Americans.
If you're gonna look, the real Americans. But now the Caucasians are the real Americans, apparently, according to a lot of right-wing people. So, it's something that's very difficult to talk about. Kasi, like, it's defining your identity as a whole. And Pappu brought up something earlier that Cebuanos versus Manila people, etc., etc. There's always going to be that divide physically. And I think that's also what's like dividing us in identity. Because we're physically separated from the other islands. 7,640 something islands.
7,100.
Saka,
anyway.
I think yun yung curse natin eh. Kasi hindi naman talaga tayo, yung Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao, hindi naman talaga tayo bansa. Tinawag lang tayong bansa ng Spain.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say.
Genuinely
Actually, parang
ang hirap, no?
Come to think of it, parang magbo-boil down to geography, yung root of all of our problems. Lahat ng social cancers natin ay magsistem sa geography ng Pilipinas, and the fact that historically we're not even supposed to be a country in the first place. Out of convenience, niname lang ng colonizers natin yung group of islands na yan as Philippines in honor of King Philip.
Tas bahala na kayo.
Bahala na kayo. Figure it out. Pero prior to them coming in, the islands itself, yung mga islands mismo, meron ding mga
Different
wars
tribes.
ongoing eh. Diba? May trade relationships, may war relationships. So parang, ewan ko kung, minsan tuloy inisip ko parang, were we fucked to start with. Parang from the get-go, the mere thought of having Philippines as a country, screwed na ba talaga? Parang bound to fail.
I think hindi naman, well, on the surface, very negative at hassle at chaotic. Pero feeling ko may strength din yung pagiging chaotic niya. Pero hindi siya masaya easily. Pero unique siya kasi ano pa ba yung mga bansa na very
Island-based?
Very island.
Very colonized or very
Oh,
island?
yung very
Mexico.
colonized ng multiple times.
Mexico was also colonized for like 300 years.
Spain din.
Years.
Oo, by Spain din. Pero hindi sila group of islands.
Oh, wala sila ng struggle na we have.
Colonized for how many years? Or by multiple,
Parang tayo na yung isa sa pinaka...
Okay, because Indians were colonized by
The British. Oo.
And that was
Very
it.
clear. In Africa, the different countries were colonized by different countries.
Yeah.
May kanya-kanyang territories.
So pansin na pansin mo per African country yung influence ng colonizers.
Yeah.
But to us, like, we had multiple colonizers and each colonizer is someone we look up to for some reason. Do you notice that? That we have this parang white supremacy kind of direction in our lives. I could see it with the, children in the streets and they see a Caucasian man and they're like, oh my God, different person.
Oh my
I'm so
God,
appreciative of
foreigner.
you."
Jojosin nila. Dahil maputi.
Yeah. But that's a different topic altogether.
Sobra.
Yeah.
Nag-parkour na tayo.
Pero it's that context that produces kung yung national identity natin hirap na tayo, paano pa kaya yung mga cultural things na in the first place hindi sila one-dimensional.
Right. I mean, if we go all the way back to when Pappu said the kulintangs and the gongs and whatever, the South is very different from the North.
Yeah.
I mean, may ganun pang difference, right? So if we're gonna include all those differences to like formulate one Pinoy identity, how?
Yeah.
The question is how?
Kasi internally, I never grew up hearing kulintang. I heard about kulintang in school. So, if I didn't attend school, I never heard the kulintang. So, is it still Filipino? I'm Filipino. So, am I not Filipino? Mga ganong questions.
May acceptance criteria of what makes me Filipino. Parang, if I've only ever heard Regine Velasquez, does that make me less Filipino? Because she's singing Western style music. So,
Makes you a Regine
We're just
Velasquez
making more
fan.
questions. Answering nothing. Just
we're
making
probably
more
that hard. We're probably doing that. And I don't know.
What if it starts on a smaller scale? Like nung 90s, 'di ba, nagkaroon tayo ng Manila sound. And then yung Manila sound na yon became very distinct. And then pero medyo anchored pa rin naman siya on rock and roll. Pero yung Manila sound or yung tunog kalye, 'di ba? Nung 90s.
May album na gano'n, Tunog Kalye.
Parang naging ano siya eh. Parang naging na-absorb din ng regions outside of Manila. So what if parang ganun din yung mangyari? Parang we start on a micro scale. On a barangay level.
Ano barangay level? Ano?
Teachers
Black
Village Rock.
Purok. Ano purok red.
Purok. Purok.
I think that's
Rap.
it's one of the easier ways din. The way we think about may mga usong band sa QC, may mga usong band sa Makati. Pero hindi naman siya fixed. Pero dahil nga magkakalapit yung mga tao at nandun yung mga venue, naghahalo.
But
yeah, I mean, like certain venues also more or less have a certain sound.
Mm-mm.
It's like, okay, what's happening at Moe's tonight? It's like you already have an idea, sort of. If you go to like, let's say 19 East, it's like, okay, you won't see a band that sounds like Moe's like there, you know.
Oo nga, no?
It starts with the venue. What? That's one of the things.
Isa pa yan eh.
Yeah.
Isa pa yan yung yung groupings of music, live music based on your location.
Well, I think part naman ng music culture yung may scenes or eksena.
Everywhere in the world has that, yeah.
I guess. It's an interesting.
But the bigger question is if people want to be grouped in a large in a large
in the OPM
cultural
way,
identity,
in the Kpop way.
Which is us,
Or what if parang it just so happened na in every country merong mangingibabaw na sound. For sure merong K-rock or K-metal. Pero ang nangibabaw na sound ay K-pop. Same
now
way.
I wonder what they think of us then.
Oo. Ano kaya yung nangibabaw na... Feeling ko, given na ang nakakalabas ng bansa sa atin ay
Ben
yung...
and Ben.
Sa'yo wala nagsalita.
Siguro? Baka? I mean, what if
maybe.
like in the near future
maybe
makilala yung Pilipinas for that folky
Folky acoustic.
Love song.
love song from the heart.
Oo nga.
Oo.
That's a good It's very, and they use the Filipino language very well.
They do
I mean,
represent the language very well.
Fucking
But just
Stephen
Tagalog
Speaks
though.
became famous here. Stephen Speaks.
Oh,
like the worst
Stephen's-
song ever.
Passenger seat. Pati
fuck?
ano isa pa?
I don't
Out of
care.
my
league.
Oh my god. Did you guys see that kind of viral video where the Stephen or whatever his name is
Speaks.
was on a Cebu Pacific
What?
flight, and then they
I
made him
saw.
sing passenger seat like he was on like the tele.
Yung gano'n, yung pang
Oh my god, he's that popular
Oh my
here.
god,
It's quite the racket.
I would have stabbed someone, dude. Like,
You would have jumped off the
Pero
plane.
bawal yung knife sa airplane. So.
well, figuratively, and I don't
Stab
know,
with their finger.
dying inside, like calling the stewardess to help.
Pipindutin na yung sa
stop it.
taas. Yung call
Yeah.
button.
Yeah. That'd be like the worst plane ride of my life ever.
Ilalabas mo yung doggy bag.
Yeah, it's like why would Cebu Pacific think like, oh, everyone's gonna love this? Like,
Not even
Di ba may
he.
Ben and Ben engagement din sila before? Cebu Pacific.
Cebu Pacific,
I don't know.
Ben.
Anyway, but
Talaga.
Cebu Pacific thinks their plane rides are so fun anyway.
May pag-games
Imagine mo
nga.
yung customer journey
Bring
nun.
me.
One of the
Uy,
passengers.
lagi ako nananalo dun sa Bring Me.
Pangarap ko manalo.
Anyway, what they saying, Howard? Imagine
Like,
if...
imagine mo, may customer doon na nag-taxi papuntang plane. Tapos yung taxi, Stephen Speaks din. Tapos nag-earphones na siya. Tapos pagsakay niya ng plane, hindi na naman. Pero yung real guy,
Yung siya
why?
na mismo.
Never will he ride sa butak again.
Ang ganda. Ang ganda. Pero inisip ko, ano ba yung sino or ano ba yung Filipino music na nakakalabas ng bansa?
Yeah, that's a question that our, I guess, our friends from other countries can answer.
Apple the app joke. American. Pero lumaki siya sa Pilipinas.
Ina-assume ko yung
Beba.
mga birit. Like, kanyari, di ba, si Charisse Pempenko was internationally recognized. Dahil,
Oprah.
yun, I mean, through
Hindi ba si
Oprah ba?
Oprah?
Through Ellen.
Oprah.
Through Oprah.
Ay, sa Oprah.
And then,
Yeah.
alam mo yun, baka, what if yun yung pagkakakilala nila sa Filipino music?
Si yung kumata sa Journey, si Arnel Pineda.
Arnel.
Pero he was just a singer.
Pero naalala ko, ayaw sa kanya ng mga Journey fans. Yung mga hardcore Journey fans. Kasi parang, like, Journey is like America. And yet...
may Asian dyan. Bakit
may Asian dyan?
How ironic their name, Journey.
Oo nga Pero sa America lang.
I wonder if yung music ni Manny Pacquiao lumabas sa Pilipinas.
He was on
Kasi
like
sikat
Conan
siya
or something, right? Or Letterman.
Oh yeah.
He sang in Conan.
Jimmy Kimmel ata.
Damn.
Well,
Ang kanta niya,
he
para
sang?
sa'yo.
Yeah. Hindi. Yung kinanta niya ay cover din. Some Air Supply song. Or
Sometimes
Bee Gees
when
na.
we touch,
Yun. Kung sino man kumanta
the
na.
honesty's too much.
Pero napansin ko, like, ang first association with Filipinos talaga ay Manny Pacquiao. Di ba?
Uy, na-mention siya sa Silicon Valley, di ba? Manny Pacquiao, the senator. Like, di ba, he's a boxer? Parang ganun yung joke sa Silicon Valley.
Ang ganda. Nag-ano ba?
Bakit? Kasi
Nag-alab
Trump.
ba yung Pinoy pride mo?
TV show, TV star.
Nung si Manny Pacquiao
Oo, nung na-mention siya.
Parang no.
Parang no.
Parang natawa lang ako na distinguish nila yung boxer versus senator thing and made it a joke.
Pero
I
tama si
feel
Howard.
like he's the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the Philippines.
Oo. Si Arnold
Like, you're
Schwarzenegger.
from Austria?
Oo.
He's the Austrian guy.
Tama. Parang siya na yung national identity.
The torchbearer.
Oo.
And the...
Austria.
I mean,
Why?
Manny Pacquiao is good at boxing.
Well,
No
yeah,
doubt.
kasi he's a critically
One of
acclaimed
the greatest.
boxer.
Senator. We'll see.
Si Donald Trump, reality show.
Yun nga. Napaisip
Pero may
tuloy ako.
pambawi na tayo.
Oo. Parang bakit? Yung presidente nyo nga.
Nag-survive ng COVID. Damn.
Your president is orange. So bad.
Ano yan? Carrot?
Jungle juice. Tang.
Local version ng Kool-Aid. Hair dye. Ganoon.
Tang.
Sobrang airbrush.
Tang na siya.
Airbrush tang. Pala.
Sa atin, gray.
Tang na Trump.
Gray? Bakit gray?
Kind of,
President natin, parang
cement.
brown na gray.
Gray?
Yung wet cement na
Oo.
mixed with a little bit of dry.
Oo. Parang
Like,
ganun
when
na
they're
yung
just
kulay niya sa
mixing
TV.
Yeah, parang gano'n. And then yung texture. Or parang kakaahon lang niya sa beach or something.
Oo.
Natuyo.
Nasobrahan ng swimming.
Oo, yung
Pag
gray,
nade-dehydrate ka.
sunburned gray.
Way past the brown. Dry
Yung,
shit.
like after your friends dig you and make a sand pile on top of you.
Kasi yung mga
then you
super
get
small
out.
dust
Parang
particles.
Shit. Kakatawa. But anyway, yeah. That's us. I guess our identity right now is Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao and Duterte.
Duterte.
Ating international.
Sino pa?
I don't know what we're known for, to be honest. As in, only Manny
adobo.
Pacquiao.
Ballad.
I don't even think adobo is a thing because that's also a Spanish thing, di ba?
KFC na may kanin.
Ang alam ko, adobo ay mas Spanish. KFC.
Oo, yeah.
Si Anthony Bourdain na kumain ng Jollibee, yung naka-paper na kanin, tapos hindi niya alam kung anong gagawin sa
Yan
kanin.
ano niya?
Burger.
Sabi niya, ano to? Tapos kinain niya by itself. Siguro,
Ang
no,
ganda.
don't
Ang
do
ganda.
it. Fake. It's not a burger. Ginanon lang niya by
Right.
itself.
Baka akala niya may laman sa
Akala niya
loob.
biscuit.
Parang
Oo,
bawang.
eh.
Parang
Eh kasi naman
Onigiri.
yung packaging. I
Oo.
mean, you know,
Yeah.
yun yung parang natural inclination ng American to do with a burger
Sandwich,
package
yeah.
thing.
Actually, you can just do without the wrapping and just put the rice on the thing, and save a lot of paper.
Oo nga, no?
So, I don't blame Anthony Bourdain.
I think it's for speed. Hinahanda na nila, di ba, si prior.
Dun sa
shoot na lang nila.
Pero di ba yung sa episode ni Anthony Bourdain dito, nung, what's yung show? Yung feature doon yung show bands. So I guess, kilala tayo for providing show bands.
Well, that's true.
That's
true.
interesting.
Talented.
In hotel.
Show band.
Hotel, casino, cruise
Session
ship.
musician.
That speak English. Good English.
Yeah.
I think one of the,
we're known for good English. That's true. That's true. As in, a lot of my friends who migrated to the US, they're always questioned about their English. Bakit daw ang galing?
Yeah.
Mas magaling pa raw sila sa locals.
Mas neutral
With,
yung accent.
Proper grammar and proper usage of the English rules.
And I guess one of the things, surprised sila that we have a huge knowledge of their country and their culture.
It's the media.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
circles
The
back
media.
to colonial mentality.
Oo nga.
US imperialism.
But at the flip side, a lot of these countries still think that we're backwards though. That's the sad part about it. Since we're the
Parang ang
colonized.
parang ang Philippines ay jungle and no
Tropical
electricity.
country.
Parang ganun.
Yes, na walang may iPhone. Tapos, what? Pinoy may iPhone? Bakit? How?
Pero ang galing no, like who's in charge of syempre, Department of
Books.
Tourism and books.
I think they still have books. I mean, they're portrayed in their history books as backwards, I think. Yeah. I remember a friend of mine. Nakabahag. Exactly. I remember a friend of mine went to Spain before. Tapos nakita siya ng isang Spanish person na may iPhone nga. Tapos nagtatanong kasi siya ng directions or something. Tapos tinanong siya parang, where are you from? Sabi niya, I'm from the Philippines. What? You look so modern.
Baka sa Europe, no? Sa Europe, mas
Looks
ganun
old.
yung tingin nila. Kasi I guess sa US, madami ng Pilipino.
Like, what were you expecting? That I'm wearing, like, not fast fashion? What do you expect to wear? Weird. Weird lang siya. So, that's the biggest question that we have right now is what is our brand, I guess. What's the Filipino brand to people? I know in America we're nurses. That's it.
Yeah.
Period. We are
Caregivers.
nurses. Caregivers. Yeah. Because of the mass migration of nurses in the 30s or onwards.
We post-war.
Yeah. So I get it, but other than that, I don't
Good
know.
singers.
Bosses
Good English speakers.
customer support. Because we have a lot
Hello.
of call center. We have a strong
Jollibee. Call centers. Uy, meron na tayong call centers for British and Australians.
Nice.
So, hiwalay pa yun. Ibang
Handy.
market pa yun. Meron tayong ibang accents na inaaral for
Na
call
na-unlock.
centering. Yeah. Hindi ko siya gagawin kasi hindi ako marunong mag-accent.
Hirap yan.
I was thinking of doing it and I was like, nah,
Nope.
I'm not gonna do
Raise a plate.
it. Steve Irwin. Frankie. Ginawa pa rin natin.
Oo nga eh.
Cultural appropriation. Tapos aawayan tayo sa YouTube comments.
Ng lahat. Okay lang.
Ng lahat.
Okay
K-pop.
lang.
Ang dami natin sinabi today eh. Na
Lahat tinapakan natin eh.
Oo.
K-pop.
Kung i-summarize natin dito. Duterte's skincare.
Oo.
His white sand routine.
Perpetually
White sand
exfoliating.
10-step Dolomite cleansing.
Para siyang Aztec face mask.
Pero
Aztec.
But Dolomite.
Parang Aztec clay na dolomite. Always.
So madali yun.
Nag-expand pa tayo doon sa topic.
So madali yun
Like all crusty.
madali yun banlawan. Isang
Yung mga
ganun lang
yung
tatanggal
mga
na.
malapit sa Manila Bay dyan, kuha na kayo. Tago na sa
To get skin like our presidents.
Skincare.
Skincare routine.
Hindi na niya tinatanggal.
So yeah, appropriation. I think may very distinct things lang that we must mind when appropriating certain things.
Like what?
I guess a simple example would be, kunyari, tourist ka sa isang place, tas may isang object that they consider sacred na bawal picturean, pero pinicturean mo sa IG story mo, na sinuot mo. So, inappropriate mo siya kasi parang
Making Tiananmen Square.
vinolate mo yung mga patakaran nila on it eh. So, I guess, pero I think with like music, like pop music especially, parang okay lang.
Walang ganun.
I mean, si Shakira na ulo sa US, that's Latin music.
Yeah, and
Especially,
musically, there's only so much you can do. There's only like how many notes,
12 notes.
how many combinations, and then if you try to own it pa, parang hassle
you can't
naman.
own.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wag na.
I think, syempre, you can trace back certain sounds and styles to a certain point in history. Pero, ngayon, marami ng layers na nagmix eh. So, mix things.
Yeah.
Can't come with, originality.
Basically, wala tayong like closed case. Everything is an open
closed.
question.
Everything
up to
is
the cupboards.
contextual.
Yeah.
Tama.
So, share your perspectives.
Ito ay
And your skincare routine.
And there's Dolomite.
share your skincare routine in the comment section below.
Yeah. And your
Help us.
Kpop bias. And your
K-pop bias.
Ben
Your
and
P-pop.
Ben bias.
Benemen bias. Benemen favorite song.
Do you like Stephen Speaks or not?
Keith
Oh yeah,
Martin?
good question. Keith Martin, David Pomeranz, Michael Learns to Rock.
Gusto niya ba
Ano
sila
pa? Ano ba
or
yung pinag-usapan
hindi?
natin?
Ah,
Manny Pacquiao, thoughts?
will you re-elect Manny Pacquiao in
Thoughts?
2022?
What do you think of Arnel Pineda?
Sandara Park's whereabouts?
Sandara Park?
Right. Meron siya Dara
David-
TV.
Yes, yes,
Dara
yes.
TV.
I met
Meron.
At
David
Dara
Archuleta.
TV. Yeah.
David Archuleta.
Thoughts?
Thoughts? And,
Ano pa pwede niya i-comment?
and have you
Christian
seen
Bautista.
Miss Saigon
Oh yes.
and Les Miserables na
Yes.
si Rachel Ango yung bida?
Yes. And cultural identity, Cebu versus
Cebu Pac.
Manila. Cebu Pac also.
Cebu
What else
Pac
do you wanna
horror
comment?
stories.
Yeah, pwede.
Nice. Or airline horror stories in general. Because it's a very different conversation, but I have a lot. Yeah. Ang dami natin pinag-usapan na treading on I don't know.
Culture. Music culture.
I don't know.
Ang dami nga.
So please don't get mad at us.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want
Because of you.
to be notified whenever we release new content, kindly click on the bell button for notifications. And also kindly subscribe to our
Kindly.
channel.
Subscribe.
We
It's because of you.
come up with new content every week. So kindly watch our videos. All the way,
All of them.
all of them. Kindly
We have-
watch.
We have
All.
more than 10 hours
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Damn.
But anyway, that's all the time we have. So kindly move on to the next video.